Hello, my name is Kay and welcome back to another house flipper video. I almost called it speed flipper, it's house flipper. And right off the bat, I'm going to show you the tools that I acquired by doing some of those side gardening jobs that weren't really interesting enough to show on camera. If you want me to go back and show, I will do them again. I will take the money gladly. But this is the weed whacker, which is great for alongside of fences and in front of the house. But this is the star of the show right here. This is my favorite gardening tool in the game. It is the full-on lawnmower. On the bottom right, you will see a little meter where it's blue, yellow, and red. That is the speed. I prefer mid-speed because the highest speed is a little bit too fast and the slowest speed is a little bit too slow. And I acquired these by doing those gardening jobs, and we also have discovered moles. So the way that you deal with moles, you don't hurt them, but you have to dig up their little mole holes until you find the mole. And he's coming up right here. There he is. He's kind of cute. If you find the mole disturbing, you can turn off the mole in options, which is nice. We love options. But until you find the right hole, you have to keep digging up the other holes. Till you find the mole, you have to dig up the holes, and more holes will appear. I did acquire a lot of skills while working on our office. Now, why did I work on our office? Well, because on our first flip, I really wanted to mow the lawn because that helps raise our gardening perks. And I was very hesitant to just sell the house without mowing the lawn first. But I made this bathroom much, much smaller. There is not going to be a shower. At first I put one in and I changed my mind. I edited all that out because there's no point in seeing me hook everything up and then take it all out. There's no need. I make a lot of changes while I'm putting together these houses, and here's our new skill point. Let's see, what did I choose? I know what I chose. Can you guess? I went with 100% faster mounting. So every time we have to hook up a washing machine, a sink, a toilet, a shower, a bathtub, a radiator, it will go so much faster. And yes, it's definitely sped up right now, but it is a dream. The faster, the better. And here I'm just putting up the walls for where we're going to have the bathroom door. For a regular sized door, you need 4 of the half wall pieces, so that's really important to keep in mind. And there's our door. Now, these doors leave a little bit of the room exposed, the floor exposed, so I always go ahead and just immediately fix that because I don't want that yucky old tile there if I'm taking the time to make the floor look nice. And we got a new skill point while I'm trying to section off an area for the bed, which will be our bedroom. And so I went with 125% faster building for the walls, and a new perk will be unlocked after 50 built walls. So, what did I do here? Yes, I continued building the half walls, and I considered, you can see how much faster it is too. In this corner right here, I considered building a full-sized wall because that can look kind of neat. And I had to move the tiles first, and then I thought, yeah, you know what? Let's just go with a little half wall because I think having a big pillar there would take up too much space in an already really teeny tiny living area. And this is me just moving the tiles around. I'm not sure why I kept this in, but yes, I am moving tiles about, but now I can hold 5 at a time instead of 3. That's wonderful. Right here, I wanted to show placing the floor. And I've shown placing the floor before, but it was always like in a small area like a bathroom. But here, it's a little bit different. The biggest thing to be concerned about is not bleeding over into the bathroom because we already placed tile down there. So it's better to take little small areas than just do the whole big area and then waste your money and have to redo the floor in the bathroom. Again, there's that little lip area for the front door. Got to make sure we cover that or else it just looks kind of yucky. The next thing that I did was I started to paint. And I went with this young flower bud color because it's very like kind of like a pale pea soup green, which could be kind of ugly, but I love this color. Especially when base game came out, there weren't tons of selection for muted colors. And here we went ahead and got another painting perk. So we're going to use 20% less paint. What does that mean? That means that our paint will go much, much farther without having to buy a new paint can. And I used light biscuit for the other walls. And I just went right into it and picked a bed. And you'll be very happy to know that I did not use all white wood furnishings for this little house. This is such a small house. And you'll see that I'm tiling little sections of the wall here. I had some tiles left over, and it was not worth it to sell those tiles. There's hardly any money I will get back from that. So why not make like a little backsplash for what would later be a kitchen area? Now, again, instead of going with the white wood, I went with kind of like it's almost cherry, but not quite. It's not red enough to be cherry, but I believe it's sable, and I went with that because it is darker. And honestly, in an area like this, I probably could have gone with lighter wood to make the area seem a little more open and airy and bigger and brighter, but I didn't. I just didn't. After using all the white in our first flip, I thought better of it. You know what? I don't want this to look like it's trying too hard to be modern, because white does not equal modern. I mean, there's other elements in design to make something look modern aside from just the color white, and I think that's something that is a bit of a misconception in these kinds of games. And it's not like it really matters. It doesn't. I mean, design it however you want. White can certainly add to modern style and aesthetic, but personally, I think that warmer tones of wood can also add to a modern feel. It really depends on how you design, how you decorate. There's a lot of elements, even architectural elements to the house. But I digress. I'm not going to go off on a whole tangent about what makes something modern or not. I really like the modern aesthetic, but I also really like mid-century, which kind of can tie into modern. And I love cozy, kind of cottage vibes. I don't really have a favorite style overall when it comes to interior decorating. I just like what I like, and I know what I like. So right here, I am putting up mini blinds, Venetian blinds. We always called them mini blinds when I was a kid. I don't know if anybody else did, but we always did. Did you call them mini blinds? Did you call them just blinds? Did you call them wooden blinds? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments, because am I the only one who grew up calling them mini blinds? So this table is probably way too big for this house, but I never used this table. I don't really love this table. It's not my favorite table in the game, obviously, if I've never used it. But you know what? It's time to try some new things. It's time to branch out a bit. And I don't know how anybody's going to get into that chair if I have to climb onto a counter to get to it. And I didn't even think of that. As I mentioned in our previous video, there is no need to make things accessible because no one is actually coming in here and using them. I should have slid that sink over so that it wouldn't be kind of like right up against the toilet. That was a big oversight, and I should have gone back and fixed it, and I didn't think about it. It was just like, oh, well, I guess I gotta put the mirror on this wall now. Oh, well. Now we're gonna be getting into some decorating, and I have a love-hate relationship with decorating because it can be very time-consuming. It can be kind of repetitive. When you've played the game a lot, you know what items you like the best, and you will use them over and over and over. So something I'm trying to do with this playthrough is not use my favorite items over and over and over, because that would just be kind of boring and tedious, I think. One of my very, very, very favorite things in this game are the herbs that you buy for the windowsill. I cannot have herbs on my windowsill. I have 3 beautiful, sweet little rescue kitties, and they would destroy them. We have bought fresh catnip plants in the past, and they have been destroyed in one day. So that's not even an option for us. So we have no house plants, and when spring, summer comes around, we do have a lot of flowers outside. I love flowers, so that makes me happy. I'd love to have a vegetable patch, but we have deer in the woods across the street, and they are enough of a menace because they kind of eat some of the flowers. But as far as veggies, we wouldn't have a prayer. So I'm trying to figure out what I did next year, because I am recording this audio track after I've already done the build. Now, I did the build yesterday, and yesterday I recorded 2 other videos, so I thought that my voice would not hold up for a third voiceover, and that is exactly what happened. I did slow things down a little bit here. That wasn't really deliberate. I'm noticing now that I definitely did not need to show this at regular speed, but it gives me a little chance to explain what I'm doing. That Memi hanger that I put in right by the front door, it's kind of like a coat hanger and like a shoe hanger, and it's for a corridor, and we don't really have a corridor, so it's just more like entryway. And I went through back and forth on what kind of wall art I wanted and where I wanted it. And I just want to point out that I wish that I could change the color of the picture frames, because I really wanted to use that picture. But that frame color was just driving me bananas. I wasn't really happy with it. And I went with this painting of brown forest. I don't really see a forest in it. I guess there's a forest there somewhere, but it's eluding me. I looked and looked, and I don't see a forest there. It kind of looks like long, jaggedy teeth to me. Am I the only one? Possibly? I don't know. For the bedroom, the only thing you need for it to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Quantify as a bedroom is a bed. But I like to try to add a chest of drawers if I can. I will also point out that you may notice the insides of the windows in this room are not painted. I switched things up this time. Some of the insides of the windows, like the light biscuit color in the living room / kitchenette, I did paint those. So you can have an idea of what it looks like if it's all painted in. I think it makes the window look very closed off. In this room, the bedroom, I left it as it was. So I did not change it. I just left it the kind of like dirty looking off-white color. And in the bathroom, I tiled it. See, it just looks kind of dirty and yucky. That's why, overall, I tend to paint the insides of the windows white. I just think it looks better. And you can see here, those windows look pretty closed off to me. Again, nobody tells you that you have to do it this way. It's just an opinion. You can do whatever you want, and that's what's great about this game. You have the freedom to decide, hey, is this how I want it? Is this a house I would want to live in? And this is probably, this is around the time that I was like, you know what, let's move this picture in here. Because this little room it's a very tiny area, right? And a big picture like that would kind of take over. So instead, I went with a combination of pictures. And you'll see that coming right up. I was once told that a house becomes a home once you start hanging up the wall art. And I was told this. We had moved to a different state, and we had rented a house that I had never seen in person. My husband had seen it in person, and we had video chatted, and he took me on like a tour of the house while voice chatting and video chatting rather. And the house, in theory, it was a really nice house, but it had many, many, many problems, and we ultimately didn't stay there very long. But unpacking everything from moving halfway across the country, it was a chore, and it took so long to get everything unpacked. And I had everything very organized. We only had 2 weeks to pack up the house, and pack up the kitties and move out here. But the man who owned the house, our landlord, I guess you would call him, he stopped by for something and he saw that we had all of our pictures up and things. And he said, now it's done. I asked him what he was talking about, and he said, once the wall art goes up, a house becomes a home. And I really like that. I have a lot of wall art. That's why I tend to put it in a lot of my renovations. I just think it makes everything look nice. But I don't know how realistic it is that if you are flipping a house that you would be putting all of this wall art in. I'm not sure why we care that much about what the potential buyers would think as far as tastes. Like, there's one potential buyer who really likes modern furniture, and that's great, but why is it up to me to choose your furniture? That part I don't understand. I do change the color of that door because I'm going to panel the walls with siding. And it took me a second here to decide on what color I wanted, and none of them were really like grabbing me. I wasn't sure what colors I really wanted to go with. And this green with that color door I think just looks pretty ghastly. I mean, if it were an interior it wouldn't be so bad, but for an exterior I did not like the color of that door, so I changed it. I do show a bit of this paneling process. It goes very quickly. It is the same kind of material as the wallpaper, so you can fly through putting it up. And for the little lip up there, I actually have to buy it's the roof. I have to buy another stack of tiles here and stand on them to get up there. Oh, new skill point. What did I choose? Can you guess? I chose hold up to 10 tiles or panels at once and lay them 75% faster. And I slowed things down. Well, I didn't slow them down. I went in regular real time so you can see how fast they can go up. And just like that, it's done. So that is our office. I will be selling this at some point. You can see I changed the front door there. But if you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, please like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out. Please leave your comments and suggestions down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.